All right, good morning, guys. Today is, excuse me, Tuesday, February 27th. As usual, going over analysis for US 30, gold, and EU. So starting off with the daily bias for US 30, bullish. Daily bias for gold is bullish. Yesterday, I did a slight mistake. I really did not update the bias for gold for the beginning of the week. So I actually thought gold was bearish. I took one trade on my personal account. This particular trade, I think I'd sent it also as a trade idea, but yeah, I forgot to check on that. Yeah, this this gold trade. So gold yesterday, the bias was bullish, and even looking back at it. But anyway, gold bullish, EU bullish, the US dollar daily bias is bearish. Looking at gold yesterday, we had taken the sell. This was literally a perfect buy yesterday because we had a nice double SAR. So we had a nice buy, could have been here as well. But I did not really look, I really did not consider that. So I still thought gold was bearish yesterday, but anyway, that was my bad on that gold trade. It wasn't an official trade, it was just like a trade idea I'd sent out. But it got to like a 1:1 risk to reward, which it was at break even. But yeah, it would have been a nice win instead of break even, as much as it was a trade idea. But anyway, looking at the 15-minute time frame, if US 30 goes below here, there's not gonna be a trade for US 30 on the 15-minute time frame. Neither are we gonna have any trade for US 30 on the 30-minute time frame. So US 30 needs to come back up and give us a break and continuation or test and rejection area at this zone. And here we can do the same thing we talked about the other day. So remember, when you have a psychological level, if we do this and mark this as a psychological level, and this is for US 30, uh, mark this as a psychological level, 39,000. If we are bullish, other than this quick rejection from open, you would expect a 250 point move from this zone before any retracement back up. So 250 points less this is around 38,850. So we would expect something like maybe this zone, then it breaks back up to around 850. So 850, that's the 250 point zone before something like this, and then move back up. So let's see if we have, this is the, and this is just a behavior of US 30 around psychological levels. So this is the case. This is 250 point, it's like a stop hunt or manipulation. Manipulation. So I'm only doing this since based off of where US 30 is. I don't think in any case I would be taking sales on US 30 now. But if we expect this, one thing I would want to see is what zones do we have around this area? So if we do have a demand zone here, especially demand zone within a demand zone, then that would be nice. So here you can see below that 250, we have this nice demand zone. So US 30, a nice rejection back up might be somewhere around here. Now, the only issue is that we do not have any SARs around this zone. So, but I will label this as strong demand zone. So US 30 might drop to this zone before retracing back up. So I'll label this zone as strong demand zone. Demand zone. And given that US 30 is fully bearish on 15-minute and 30-minute, I do expect US 30 to keep dumping down. Only issue is that we do not have any sell entries right there. And you can see that huge drop, right? So something like this. And this is another thing why I've started using the demand zones, recently because it keeps you away from getting manipulated and even stop hunted. The other part, if you're using the demand zones, you want to look for, or supply and demand zones, you want to look for this darker shaded regions within where price is at. So for example, that's why I drew this zone in here because within this whole zone, the bigger zone is from here to here. But within that zone, there's that zone that has darker shading. So that's what I call demand zone within demand zone. If it was the opposite, I would call it supply zone within supply zone. Okay, so I can turn off the zones indicator. Now let me turn on the order blocks indicator. You can see we have a 4-hour bearish high order block here. So again, this brings credence to the point of getting manipulated back down here first before retracement back up later. So I'll look to take this trade if it comes back up here. If US30 gets below this zone. Actually, and let me see, what time? 9:30. The other thing I've been using recently is the breakout scanner. So for the breakout scanner, let me see, this is US30. I want to see if I can do anything with it for now. US30. It might be a little too late. So let me just wait for it to load. All right, so there it is. What time is it? 33. Yeah, that's a little too late to jump in. Um, okay, no worries. All right, we'll just wait for the right backup. Moving on to gold. Gold, what do we have here on the 15-minute time frame? 15-minute time frame. This is a break and continuation. Break and continuation. So if these two candles do close above here, this would be a break and continuation. However, we ask ourselves, what is the most optimal zone for this break and continuation? So if if the current candle closes above here, it will have validated this zone, this zone, this zone, and this zone. So three SAR zones, actually four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you always want to wait for, and we also have a test and rejection entry. So you can see test, rejection. So we have a test and rejection, we have a break and continuation. So given that, I'm not interested in the break and continuation because the most optimal trade and this one is currently going on, is this test and rejection entry. So currently, this is gold. And then remember, we have to turn on our zones indicator because if we're looking to buy here, would want to see if we have a demand zone perfect. So our SAR zone, this is again, this is why even for the break and continuation, you wouldn't want to catch the buys here because this zone that has the buys, we don't have any demand here. We don't have any buyers. This is no man's land. It's between supply and demand. So for me, this is the best zone to say buy gold. So at this point, I go ahead and do my markup and I do something like this and something like that. So that's my anticipated pattern. And then since the trade validated up here, but because price is overextended, I would want to see where somebody who hopped into the trade upon validation despite overextension would be achieving a 1:1. So my anticipation is that price comes here first before giving this person a 1:1, and then I go ahead and mark up the trade basis. So the trade is based off of test and rejection over double SAR right here. Test and rejection buy. So it's no longer pending. It already validated. And then it's just a matter of being patient for hopefully price to get up here or to get down here first. On the 30-minute time frame, we have a possible test and rejection based off of this zone all the way down. Actually, no, there's a current 30-minute trade running here. So we have, and give me 1 second. So there's this current 30-minute trade that's running here. It's based off of these two 30-minute candles, so test rejection. But same thing with the 30-minute time frame. Let's turn on our zones indicator. If I turn on the zones indicator and I don't see any green here, it's not a trade I would even want to take. And also looking at these two trades, which is the most optimal trade? The most optimal trade would be the 15-minute trade because the price entry is lower, or the entry is lower. So here, if I turn on the zones, you can see we are all in a red zone. So this is a big red flag on the 30-minute time frame. It's not a trade I would be looking to take. And yes, there is a demand zone down here, but going forward, I would rather you guys to focus in demand zones within demand zones, or supply zones within supply zones, because the reason I'm talking about this, and I'll go over it in the EU trade we took on Friday and got stopped out. If this supply zone is only based off of one candle, so there's no intersection with any other candle. This means that if the current candle closes below this green zone will disappear because it's based off of one candle. You want to watch out for the zones that are overlapping. So you see this darker zones right here, 2027, 2028 area. Those would be the perfect ones. Even this one here between 2032 and 2031, it's not a demand zone I would be looking to trade because it's only based off of one bullish candle. And if you have a strong bearish candle coming in, that would be manipulated out. Okay, let's move back to the 15-minute real quick. I'm not in the trade as of yet. So here, what I want to see is, see if it comes back. So I'm not in the trade yet, but this is a nice trade. Want it to come back down. So green, okay, so this is good. All right, so now I want to move to, I've been using the breakout indicator for, and I'll show you guys something. I'm waiting on gold to come back. See, there you go. See if this has loaded. So if you're looking to buy, I'll show you guys what I'm looking for here. So in the breakout indicator, you have this X's, right? This X is one of the with this indicator, the breakout indicator, the crossovers will give you some of the earliest entries possible. And by crossovers are these X's you see right here. So the red X is like crossover sell, the green X is crossover buy. So normally what I've been doing, if I anticipate manipulation in a zone, I will, that's why I have 1 minute on my left and 5 minutes on my right. I will wait for price to be manipulated and then wait for, so right now I'm looking to buy gold, right? But I do see an area of manipulation. The area of manipulation, if we turn on this zones indicator, yes, we have a demand zone within a demand zone here, but you can see we have another demand zone within a demand zone all the way down here. So if this demand zone, is to hold, I would want to see some sort of reversal to the upside. And an indicator that gives you some of the earliest reversals is this breakout scanner. And then in the breakout scanner, we have two types of buy and sell signals. There's the typical sells and buys that are printed on the screen. That is the breakout buy and sell. But this X is right here, the red X and green X, those are the crossover buys and sells. So those give you some of the earliest entries signifying retracement or a reversal. So what I'll be looking for here is a possible green X, but also looking at where price is, I'm not too worried because we have just a bunch of demand zones within demand zones here. So for this one, if gold comes back down here, I'll be taking that gold trade. So we'll see when it comes. So this is an instance where I'll go over like the crossover buys and like the perfect time to use the crossover buys and sells is for this US 30 trade. So you also don't want to get too many things that get in the way. So for example, we have the SAR, like this trade is based off of the SAR. And then I know we also introduced the zones and we introduced also the markups to it, like as a confluence. So you don't also want to add too many things to it. But the one that I would use, what I'm telling you guys, this crossover right here is an instance like this for US 30. It's more of a speculative trade because if I'm speculating US 30 will do this 250 point manipulation, then I'm not really trading SARs at this point. I am trading the speculative trade by itself. So I'm not really interested in like uh um the SAR. So here, if gold comes back down here, I'll take that trade. And I should have taken it. I think I was analyzing this 30-minute one. But anyway, if this trade gets to a 1:1 risk to reward, at that point, if anyone did catch the trade, go ahead and set break even. Personally, I missed this trade because I was going over that 30-minute setup. But anyway, so here for the 30-minute, yeah, the 30-minute was running. You could have been in some drawdown. And let me see for this 30-minute. If I get that crossover buy here that lines up with this 30-minute on US on gold, I'll catch the 30-minute trade setup. But yes, so here on gold on the 30-minute, this is also a trade setup. So we had a test and rejection. So this is a test and rejection right here. I know some of this happened like so fast, but we had a valid test and rejection setup right here. And then of course the anticipation would have been that, and then all the way up there. So we'll see how that goes. So if I get a crossover buy here on gold on the 1 minute time frame, you'll see the green X and it lines up with this 30-minute setup. I'll hop into this 30-minute trade setup. But if you're already on this 15-minute one, if price gets to that zone up here, you go ahead and set break even. And then let's look at EU. I'll just watch it to my left. So I'm not in the 30-minute. I'm not in the 15-minute. The 15-minute, I could have taken it if I was on time, but I missed it. But I'll watch this on my other chart. For EU, no trade on EU, nothing on the 15-minute time frame, nothing on the 30-minute time frame. Let's see that gold. Not yet. All right. Nothing on EU on the 15-minute, nothing on the 30-minute. On the hourly time frames, nothing for US 30 on the hourly, nothing for gold on the hourly based off of where price is at. Nothing for EU on the hourly as well. So today, I think my only trade will be this gold trade and possibly this US 30 speculative trade right there. But for right now, we'll just watch this gold setup. US 30 fully bearish on 15-minute, 30-minute. Gold is half and half. EU fully bearish on 15 and 30 as well. Let's see. All right, so I'm not interested in this other markup because, of course, the trade came to me first before going to give that person 1:1. And again, right, you can see the importance of waiting for that retracement into this zones right here or into your demand zones. All right, here for the crossovers, still need that green X. If I do get that green X, I will hop into that. Now, the crossover buys and sells, of course, it's safer. So same thing, the higher the time frame, the better the confluence. The 1 minute you'll get a quicker entry. The 5 minute might be a little later, but it's probably a bit more safer. But I would say if you have other confluences, if you have your bias, if you have the zones, if you have like order blocks, the 1 minute should be fine. But if you don't have too many other confluences, maybe it's best to wait to get that crossover entry on the 5 minute setup. So what I'm looking for here, if you guys can see this red X, I'm sorry, this green X right here, this is the setup that I'm looking for. I'm just waiting for that crossover buy on the 1 minute. So it's just like just a slightly more tighter confluence for some of these trades. would we run? So we should be getting it any time now. There it is. It's gonna be off of this candle, but this candle again is too huge. We need some sort of retracement from here. Retracement down and then have like a smaller candle to get that X. And remember, now the other part on gold, before we get this, on gold, we know that we have a daily bearish high at 2039, right? So if you guys remember the last 2 weeks, we've been anticipating that daily bearish high, which got taken out on Friday. It was between 2039, 2038, 2040 area. So between this zone. So since that has already been taken up, if they do come back up there, gold might be heading to 2060s, 2070s area. And I do see this as the possible move back up for gold. Also looking at, so that's a retracement that I want. Okay, so there goes your green X right there. If you guys can see it, you have your green X. So I'll be taking a buy on gold. So for you guys, if you're taking it, 0.75% risk. Personally, for me, of course, I'm using 1% risk per trade. I'm not in it yet. Buy. Okay, so I'm in the trade right there. Based off of this 30 minutes. So it still does line up with this 30-minute. And that's the red X that I was looking at. I'm sorry, the green X right there, the crossover buy right there. Yeah. All right, so this will probably be my only trade for the day. Not sure, unless US 30 comes back here later on in the day. That's the only way maybe I'll catch a US 30 trade. But based off of where US 30 is, I really don't see anything. Oh, I forgot to get in on this other account. Okay, I'm in both accounts as well. Yeah, so mostly I do see I'll only be riding this gold trade right here. But anyway, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. And then we'll just see how this trade goes. So of course, the 15-minute, as I said earlier, the 15-minute was the most optimal trade. But the 30-minute was also a nice trade setup. Went down to the 1-minute time frame to get that crossover entry. And that's the entry we have right there. What else? What else? What else? All right. I think I didn't mark up gold entries on the 4 hour. So let's check the 4 hour as well. So we did have I checked the momentum entries. So there was no momentum entries either for gold, US 30 or EU on the hourly and 4 hour timeframes. So there's nothing really to anticipate there on the hourly and 4 hour. So the other entries that we can check are the 4 hour entries for SARs. So I will just mark those up. US 30 and EU should be marked up. The only ones that I don't have for gold, and we can do that right now. All right. Let's see. For the 4-hour time frame for US 30, let's see. Mm, 57 to mm, 20. For gold here on the 4-hour time frame, the nearest SAR zone is all the way down here, or double SAR zone, 2030, 2031.9. Yes, so this is the nearest one right here. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for gold. This one, 2028.1, 2028.119. 2027. No, that's too big of a zone. So for gold, it's only one double SAR on the 4-hour that I can see. Other than that, nothing on EU. The green zone is the double SAR, but we're not going to be on the live session for that long. So right now, it's only this gold trade on the 30 and 15-minute time frames. And then you'll see. All right, it should be coming back into profit. I got slipped up a little bit to my detriment, but I'm just getting back. Yeah, so I'm in slightly in profit now for that gold trade. Um, yeah. So US 30, again, following that pattern, right? That psychological level, 250-point manipulation to the downside. See what zones we have here. Yep. So US 30, I don't see it even reversing. So the best thing with the zones, so remember, price moves from one pocket of liquidity to another. So if price is in between, like this is an area definitely you wouldn't want to trade in. I would say, if anything, if you're in no man's land, look at where price is coming from, right? So in any case, here I can see probably people trying to catch buys. But looking at it right here, if you're looking at this zone and literally trading red to green or green to red zone, you would rather catch a sell here because they've already picked up. You can see where they've picked up the liquidity from all these red zones. All these buyers right here were unable to hold US 30 up. So it means these sellers that are right here are the ones that have momentum. So in any instance, like where would be the best place to even buy US 30? It would be in this zones right here, this green zone. So those demand zones within demand zones. So in any case, catching sells on US 30 would be ideal. And just looking at that, right? Price moves from one pocket of liquidity to the next. So I do see this happening probably maybe around midday later on today or 1 p.m. But this definitely looks like a move that's going to happen later. So even if that's the case, let's start looking. We have a bunch of double SARs down here, but I would have to mark them up probably later. But if we do get this move during the live session, we can catch that trade setup on there. I'll just send this to the group as a trade idea. Actually put it in indices here as well. Oh, look at that spike in gold. Maybe we had news right here. Probably had news. But you should be at break even if you took the 15-minute entry. I did not. I took the 30-minute entry. But let's see how this plays out. Yeah, this was the nice one. Only thing I just hope not to get manipulated for that. But yeah, if you took the 15-minute trade, you should be at break even. You might get taken out. Yeah, it was the new home sales. Mm. And if this does close with that buy signal, that would also be a possible momentum buy later on if price gets to that region. And if we turn on the zones again, right, look at where they're grabbing that liquidity also from. So that's why it's best to enter trades in those either demand or supply or demand zones. Because it also kind of helps you avoid some of these manipulated moves. Because if during news, ideally the same thing, even though price is being manipulated, it goes and gets manipulated into a pocket of either buyers or sellers, and price rejects from there. So I know here, even on the 30-minute time frame, we do have this. So I'm not too worried before price, maybe 2037, that's where we might start having some sort of stronger rejection. But as much as we're in this green zone, I'm sorry, this red zone right here, the zones that have higher amount of sellers are this ones between 2041 to 2037. And that's ideally because if you guys remember, that zone, we have that daily bearish high order block. But again, the sellers use that on Friday. So it was mitigated, or it's already been tapped in. So price can easily go back up there without too much hassle. But again, just anticipating that we get a nice push up for this trade before the live session is up or is off, or at the very least get like a break even for this trade. Mm, US 30 didn't get too much action from that news. Now, the only other way, or one of the other ways, actually, never mind. I was about to say something about a momentum buy, but we don't have that here. Nothing on E. Here on the hourly time frame, we also do have a possible test and rejection setup, but this has to close in the next hour. So you'd have 55 minutes for this. So so you can always wait for this other trade setup as well for gold. So this would be possible pending test and rejection buy as well. That zone right there. but you'd have to wait an hour for this particular trade setup. Looking at the zones also for the hourly time frame. Let's see. So same. So here on the hourly time frame, this again is let's see how many zones are this. So it is a demand zone, but it's based off of one candle. Uh, yeah, don't think this is a strong demand zone right here. Let me see something. Yeah, it's based off of one candle. So yeah, the hourly one, I'm not too sure about it. So I'll go ahead and delete that one as well. So remember, for this supply and demand zones, we're looking for those concentrated zones and not like a zone that's, was only set up by one candle. All right, so we still have that back and forth with this trades, the 30 minutes and so the 50, if you took the 15-minute, then you are out at break even. You'd have just gotten taken out at break even. So that's not the one we took or I took as an official trade. So I would be using the 30-minute one. But even then, let's see. There's also another 15-minute one. So let's see right here. Let me draw the new one for the 15-minute, and it's currently running as well. So this candle, the same zone as well. So you had a test rejection candle. Now, in the next two candles, the rejection candle became the test one. So test rejection. So that one went on as well. And then again, the rejection candle became the test candle. So you have test rejection. So the one I'm talking about would have validated on this candle right here, on this news candle, right? But of course, price was overextended and you would have waited for price to retrace to your zone, which it did. And then you would be doing something like, because it was based off of this, so it would have already tapped you in there. You'd have been expecting something of that sort. So there's also another 15-minute one that's currently running. So the other one would have gotten taken out at break even. This one again is currently running. Personally, I'm only in this 30-minute based one. But there's also that new 15 one there as well. So they're pretty much around the same areas of entry. So there's two setups right there. There's that 15-minute, there's that 30 minutes. Yes, 30. Yep, there goes that move right there. As we wait for this gold trade, if anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Because right now it's a matter of just waiting. So it's either this gold trade that I'm in, and I think my second trade of the day will be this US 30 trade, but this one looks like it might be a little bit later on in the day. Mm. All right. Um, this comes US 30. What, 15-minute time frame? 950, 850. This move. That one. All right. Come on, come on, come on. Is this the NF? When is the NFP week? I think that's next week, right? Yeah, NFP. Yeah, NFP is next, pretty much next week. Mm. 30 minutes. Let's see here. 15. I'm really thinking of taking this 15-minute as well, but the only thing is, since my max cap or my the allowance I give myself for a day's 2% loss, I because I do see this US 30 trade coming in later. What time is it? 10:14. So probably I'll stay on for 15 more minutes and see if we get this US 30 trade, but I do like this 15-minute setup for gold. Only thing I don't want to get into gold and possibly get stopped out on the 30 and 15 minutes and lose out on this US 30 trade setup. So yeah, I'll just hold off for now, and wait for this move right here to happen. Hopefully we get it before in the next 15 minutes. But I definitely see gold as well reversing back up, and wanted to see if I can bank on both the 15-minute and the 30-minute. But I'll just hold off on entering on gold twice and just wait on this US 30 trade. Mm. There goes that 15-minute one. That's what I wanted to happen. But she's coming back even on the 30-minute entry. Oh, this was a valid momentum buy here on gold. This one right here. You had rejection off of a yes. So if I'd seen that, man, I'm seeing these things after the fact. This was a valid momentum buy on gold. The reason it was a valid momentum buy, you have this requirements for gold. Oh, I'm sorry, for momentum entries. So signal candle wasn't the highest candle of the retracement. Um, but anyway, since it's at my 30-minute entry, I'm not gonna enter it twice. Yeah, but this is a nice one as well. So if we do get this 15-minute candle, which closes in the next 12 minutes, closing above this momentum area, above the low of this candle, which was a valid momentum buy, you'll probably see a spike up in gold. So, but that would be like in the next 12 minutes. But if we do get that closure above, you'll probably start seeing maybe higher lows and then get a spike up in price at some point. So anyway, let's just watch how this goes. I'll stay on for what's it, the next 13 minutes and see how this trade goes. And then we'll call it a day. Mm. Um, Excuse me. Come on, gold. 50 from now is let's look at some of these other things. Odd CAD on the daily zero. Odd CAD. I haven't used the SAR scanner in a while. Odd CAD. Um, hmm, no, it's fine. Looking for the ones that have zero here. Gold, buy on this. That's fine because it means that, yeah, I see that. That's fine. The other one is, it's nothing else. Bitcoin has just been pumping. It's like BTC might be going back to its all-time high. That shit has been pumping and pumping. 57K. feel a little, yeah, that those buys have been going on for so long. Um, 30 odd God. Yeah, nothing really nothing else good that's happening in other markets. Into front.
So, bro, with elections, what do you think is going to happen? Because I think in November you got the U.S. elections.
What do
So,
you mean what's gonna happen?
how do you think the market will react? Like maybe a month before?
To be honest, I don't know. I haven't backtested election years.
Yeah,
And plus, I think it depends on who's gonna come in. If Trump gets reelected, the markets are just gonna soar, and that's gonna be amazing because it's gonna line up with the forecast of US 30, wrapping up or spiking towards the end of the year. So if Trump gets reelected, US 30 will probably start spiking because normally US 30 starts spiking October-ish, November. If he gets reelected, it will keep spiking maybe until mid next year. If a Democrat or if Biden gets reelected, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I haven't backtested, but yeah, I wouldn't know. But I know if Trump gets elected, because if you backtest Trump's presidency, US 30 was pretty much on an uptrend, more of an uptrend trajectory than it normally is. Yeah, but without backtesting, I can't really tell you historically what is likely to happen.
mm,
Man, this gold trade, I hate being in a trade for like 30 minutes or longer. It's just annoying. I just want either stop loss, break even, or take profit real quick. So
yeah,
6 minutes, this will wanting to let's see how this candle will close in the next 6 minutes. If this candle closes below this momentum buy, um, gold might start becoming bearish, but we'll see.
yeah. So, let's how we were saying about CBDCs. So, it will happen. Now, let's say it happens.
What do you
Now,
mean CBDC?
the CBDCs, when they do it, I don't think though it will be like one currency. You know, they're
For the
thinking,
central bank?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nah,
It won't,
none of that shit will happen.
yeah, it will happen. Like the digital currency will probably happen, but it won't be like one currency because that just cause that will cause like a madness. I don't think that would happen,
No.
right? Yeah.
Digital currencies are not going anywhere. Like if we're maybe in like the retail sector, in the political sector, it's not going. Cash is always going to be king in the political world.
Yeah,
But I don't think, even though it's still gonna be backed by the US dollar or whatnot. So it's not gonna be like Bitcoin or Litecoin. It's just gonna be an attempt to either get people to pay more taxes or whatnot. So
yeah,
it's just a smokescreen. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Now, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, whatever, those are coins that may do something, but coins that come from the central banks, nah, I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. Man, there's no volatility in the market. Let's see. Come on. If we do close above here, see four more minutes before this candle closes. So that's gonna be at 10:30-ish. If we do close above, we might get that spike we need to the upside. But these things are moving so slow. That's 30. Um, it's still valid. Perfect. Mhm. Sorry. And yeah, I think that will be it for the day. I don't really see anything or any other need to stay on. Because even if it does spike up or down, I mean, I'm still either way, I'm still gonna be in the trade, whether it's TP, stop loss, or break even. But there's really no other trade setup we're waiting on. This US 30, I was hoping we get that move to the downside, but there's really nothing here to try and catch the move to the downside. But I think that will be it for today. However the gold trade goes, I'll update in the Discord and record in that spreadsheet. So currently for the month, we are up 0.75%. Personally, I'm actually even lower than this because yesterday that gold trade I accidentally, not accident, I took thinking that the bias was bearish, but the bias since close of business Friday was bullish. I did take a loss on gold yesterday, so my account is at, oh, it's not signed in, but I haven't signed into this journal. I think I'm at 197 on a 200K account. So, but anyway, if this gold trade does hit, I'll be up like, I'll be back above 200K level. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so for the official trades for the month, if you took it every trade I've been sending out or taking on the live session or sending in the Discord, you'd be up 0.75%, which is good. Hopefully if we do lose today's trade, we'll be at break even for the month. If we do win today's trade, we'll have a gain of 1.5%, which will be like a 2.25% gain. So again, that's why I love the 1:2 risk to reward with break even set at 1:1. You just have to be right a certain amount of time. So as much as you might have sometimes more losers than winners, you might still end up winning at the end of the month. But anyway, if there are no other questions, that will be it for the day. We'll see how this gold trade goes, and I'll update the results whenever price gets to either of this. So just remember, whenever if you do achieve a 1:1 on this trade, go ahead and set break even in order to avoid any reversals or any possible reversals. But I'm liking the structure gold has on the 5 minute. We're also creating higher lows. So that's also a nice one. So the only thing holding it up is that daily bearish order block, daily bearish high. So if I turn on the markups indicators, you'll see we have that daily bearish high at 2039. But that zone has already been picked up. I know we looks like we also have this 4 hour bearish order block right here. But again, I'm just trading in the direction of my daily bias. And I do know we are sitting on demand where we are, and the trade was valid. So that's all that should matter. But anyway, other than that, if you guys have any questions, you can ping me in the Discord. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. And I'll also update the results of this trade today. All right, guys. See you.